Okay, recording starts.
Okay, so can you please move to next slide? Okay, so I will start with the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University's campuses are situated are in the traditional territories of diverse indigenous groups, and we acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. And next. Okay, so you have probably heard about the Canada Games happening here soon. Yes, it's a big event, and because of it, we are expecting a large number of guests, tourists, and of course, new students arriving for the fall semester. Naturally, this will have an impact on housing, and it already has. Rental prices may be a bit higher during this time, and availability might be limited. So, it's important that you plan ahead and explore your options early. Next. So this is the agenda of my today's presentation. First, I will explain about on and off campus housing, then temporary accommodation options, some of the types of student housings and how to search and explore these resources, a bit overview of family housing, and in the end, I will try to explain a little bit about how the lease document looks like for off campus. Next, please. Okay, so basically there are two types of housing, on campus and off campus. So at the end of the day, it's your decision that where you want to live. Now, I know many of you are thinking about living on campus, and I totally understand why. There are definitely some great advantages. For example, when you live on campus, you don't have to worry about commuting, transportation, everything is nearby, so you can focus more on your studies without dealing with daily travel or other issues. In some cases, dealing with roommates or landlords or some other issues. Plus, as a newcomer, being on campus might make you feel more safe and more comfortable while you are still getting familiar with your surroundings. It gives you some time to settle in and explore other housing options later on if needed. On the other hand, off-campus housing has its own benefits too. You have more independence, you can often save money by cooking your own meal, and you might find places closer to malls, grocery stores, or bus routes. So it's making it easier to get around and explore the city. So again, it's really depends on what works best for your lifestyle, your budget, and your comfort level. Next, please. Okay, so let's talk about on-campus housing. I will just give a quick overview here, like I mentioned earlier, for detailed information that I am the off-campus housing advisor, and for the detailed information, if you need for the on-campus, you have to directly connect with the on-campus housing team. So I just want to explain that there are on-campus accommodation available for single student as well as family students, as well as for families. So, but I also wanted to highlight one important point that the family accommodation for this fall semester for 2025 is not available because of fully booked. So this is the only thing I wanted to highlight for the families. Uh, and the other thing is there are three buildings for on campus, that is Patton College, Burton's Pond, and Signal Hill. So Patton College and Signal Hill are usually for mostly for single students, and for Burton's Pond there is like family units as well as single units. Um, so as per the current update from the website, which I see that is the for fall 2025, only the Patton College is currently accepting the new applications for single students. Signal Hill and Mefferson Signal Hill and another one is Mefferson College. That is also one of the building which is not mentioned here. It's already fully booked. So right now the only even for single student only the Patton College is available and they are taking the application. So if you want to apply, you can either directly apply on housing portal or you can connect with housing@mun.ca. The email is mentioned here and you can ask the details about fees, about application and how to apply. And if you have the another important point is, if you have already been accepted into on-campus housing, then you have to remember, make sure that you know your check-in date. For fall 2025, check-in begins on September 7 at 9 a.m., which is a Sunday. And so please make sure your flight's arrival time match, or just plan carefully. For example, if your flight lands at 1 or 2 a.m. on the 7th, that means that you will need to arrange a place to stay for a few hours until the check-in opens. Now, let's talk about off-campus housing. If you are planning to live off campus, we highly recommend that you book temporary accommodation first and look for long-term housing after you arrive. I understand that temporary places can be more expensive, but in long run, it's safer and a smarter option. And why I'm saying this, because we have seen many students that who sign fixed term leases from overseas without ever viewing the place in person, and unfortunately they end up regretting it later, because sometimes landlords seem very friendly during the online conversation, but once the lease is signed and you arrive, the reality can be different, and by then you are stuck. So always try not to sign a fixed term lease. That means that if you are in a fixed term lease, you will be bound to stay at the same place. And that's why we strongly recommend choosing a short-term, temporary, or month-to-month rental agreement at first. This give you a flexibility and chance to explore your surroundings safely. And of course, if you are 100% sure about the place, the landlord, and the arrangement, then a fixed-term lease might work for you, but only if you are confident. And in short, I know we all want to save time, money, and stress, but as a newcomer, it is better to be cautious and take your time finding the right place. Also, one thing which you as a newcomer or new incoming students has to be keep in mind, that you has to be extra careful about scams, because as a newcomer it is easy to fall for something that seems too good to be true, and especially during this time of the year when housing demand is very high. Unfortunately, scams do increase during peak seasons, so always double check listings and avoid sending money before seeing the place in person. For example, if someone asks you to send money upfront without letting you view the place, if you see that the price is unusually very low compared to other listing, then that's a red flag. So some scammers even pretend to be landlords using fake names or stolen photos. So try to avoid making payments in advance, and if possible, ask for a video tour or have someone local like your friend or some from your own country, or some of your, any community member from your own country. You can ask them to go and view the house on your behalf. Next slide. Okay, so as I mentioned that you have to book the temporary accommodation first. So what are those temporary accommodation options? And you probably already know the common ones. There really are not any out of the box solution beyond Airbnbs and hotels. So you can reach out to community groups on WhatsApp, Facebook, and just ask around. Sometimes you might find someone who is willing to host you for a few days, and in many cases students actually end up building a great relationship with their host, so which can be a big help. And so trust me, if you find this kind of support, just like your host will pick up from your airport, or and give you rides. So this is, as a newcomer, this kind of support means a lot, because in the starting you need to settle down, you want to understand the city, you want to understand the transport and everything. So if you find some place where where the landlord is basically host you for days or few weeks or for a month, that would be a great option for you guys as well. So my strong recommendation for students is to start with temporary accommodation and taking your time with the housing search. It gives you flexibility, safety, and a chance to make a better decisions once you are actually here. Can you move next slide? Okay. So this is the important slide because now I'm talking about long-term housing options, and this slide mainly, so this slide is basically more towards the single or individual students, but it can work for families as well because some points are mutual. So there are few common types of housing, off-campus housing. The most typical one is sharing a house with others, and because usually it's more affordable, and even in a shared accommodation or a shared housing, there are two main setups: student only housing, where all the roommates are students and the landlord does not live on the property, and then there is a shared housing with a landlord, where the landlord where you rent a room in a house where the landlord also lives. So the advantage here is that the house is usually cleaner, well maintained, and if you build a good relationship with the landlord, they may help you out, like offering rides or helping with grocery or just giving some general support. So these are the two housing types within a single student, like shared with the landlord or shared among all the other roommates. So whichever option you choose, the average monthly rent is usually between 600 to 800, but that can vary based on many factors. So if the rent seems a little high, it's important to understand why. So let's look on these factors one by one. So the monthly rent, this is your main expense. The average range currently, as I mentioned, 600 to 800 per month. But so in Newfoundland, the monthly rent is usually the amount which is total for 1 month for a student. It depends that if it is include the utility or not. So I will come on utilities separately, but for the monthly rent, it's usually a month cycle. So whatever date you move into the house, that's the start of your monthly rent. Then the other thing is security deposit. So in Newfoundland, there is a 75% of security deposit which will be needed when you are going to book, when you are going to confirm a accommodation, or when you are going to secure any housing. There will be a 75% of security deposit, or some people also call damage deposit. So basically, it's usually in the starting, it's sometimes usually to hold the house for you. If there are a lot of viewings for the one house, then you can pay the security deposit and you can hold a house. And so it works as a damage deposit as well. So once you move out of the house and house is in the same condition when you move in, and you did no any damage, that means that your security deposit will be returned back to you. But it is only paid for the first time when you move into the house. So if, for let's say, your monthly rent is 1,000, and your monthly rent is 1,000, so you are moving into the next month to the new place. You pay 1,000 for your month rent, and then security deposit for the first time when you are moving, that would be 750. So that is the 75% of the total rent. That is for the first time you have to pay 1750 altogether for to move into the house. And the other thing is, so the 75% is the legal limit. If any landlord asks more than that, do not give. You can say that I know the legal limit, so I can only pay 75%. So the next one is utilities. So there are two types of utilities. That is all inclusive or and POU. So all inclusive means that the utilities, heat, electricity, Wi-Fi, sometimes Wi-Fi included in utilities, sometimes not. So basically heat, electricity and everything is included or in all inclusive utilities. When it's written all inclusive, everything is included. You don't have to worry about additional expense after you pay your rent. But if it is POU means pay own utilities. So that means that you have to pay additional for your utilities. So usually in a shared accommodation, the utilities are divided among equally among all the tenants. So if you are living with two sharing in a person's house, you will be shared 50-50. If you are living with 4 5, accordingly it will be split among all. Then there is a heating type. What kind of heating? So there are two types of heating, the heating, oil heating and electric heating. So the oil heating is a little expensive and it's basically a old type of heating. And if you find any house where there is a heating type is oil, that means there's a house is maybe old. And the other one is heat electric, so that is a little like that heating is more convenient and more efficient. So the smart one is the electric heating. Then there comes the location. So most of you I know like to live nearby the walking distance to the campus, but even if it is not very near to the campus, that doesn't mean that it may be far away, like 1 or 2 hours. It's not like that. St. John's is a small city, so if you get any place which is a far away, that means that it can maybe take 30 minutes or 40 minutes by bus, and all the areas are usually accessible by public bus, public transport. So if you find any place which is in St. John's, that means you are good to go. And you can also put the address on the Google map and you can see that how far it is from the drive, how far it is from the by walk, and is there any bus stop nearby. So you can see all this information. So the location is also important. So sometimes the bus stop are not nearby, that's a 15 minutes by walk or 10 minutes by walk, maybe you don't want to consider that option. That's fair enough. And because in winter it's very hard to walk from the home to the bus stop, and then you have to wait. So that's why the location is important. Okay, the another type is furnished or unfurnished. So the house usually come either furnished, that means everything is included, the furniture is included, that the and the sorry, the laundry, the washer, dryer, stove, refrigerator, and furniture. Everything is included. It's fully furnished. So you just have to take your luggage and you have to move into the house and start living. But if and so sometimes that the range of 600 to 800, it falls towards the 800 because it's a fully furnished and it has like everything is included. So that means a little higher, but it will save your time and energy to have arrange your own furniture and all. But if it is unfurnished, the room might be not very expensive. It may be, let's say 400, 450, 500, something like that. But if it is unfurnished, so you have to arrange your own furniture, desk, table, chair, everything you have to arrange. You have to arrange the moving truck, and you have to do all these things. So in starting, it's better to go for the furnished apartment. Then landlords and roommates. So this is an important point because if you are living in a shared accommodation, it is important that you have a good understanding with roommates, because when you are living with roommates, and so that means that if there is any issue, or if you have different kinds of habits, so there might be sometimes a dispute happen within roommates and with the landlord as well. Usually there are good landlords, but there are sometimes landlords which have some dispute issues. So always try to be polite and try to get along with your roommates good, so that you don't face any kind of minor issues. Okay, so why I mentioned number of bathrooms here, because in St. John's and here it's common to have one washroom, one bathroom in a house. Let's say if the house is 4 bedroom or 5 bedroom, sometimes there's only one bathroom that is shared by 4 or 5 people. So if bathroom is something which is of your importance for you, important for you, so you can consider like see the if the bathroom has only one bathroom is sharing among 4 people or 5 people, so you should consider about live going to in that place or not. Then laundry access. So in apartments, the laundry access is usually coin operated, but if it is house, there is a washer and dryer available. So if there is a house which is unfurnished and they say that there is no laundry, that you might not consider taking that house, because it's very difficult to find public laundry here in St. John's. There are, I think, one or two available, and it's also by like a little far. You have to go and then you have to pay. Like this is not free laundry, so that is a separate thing. So always try to ask for about washer dryer if it is available in the house. And if it is not, then try not to go for that house. Neighborhood and grocery store. So neighborhood is important because you might want to live in a safe and clean and quiet environment. So there are very good. Every whole St. John's is very good, but downtown is a little bit of noisy. Let's say noisy area, or but all the areas compare and the grocery stores. Once that's why I recommend that once you are here and you can be start with the temporary accommodation, then you can have more understanding of neighborhood and groceries and nearby areas, so then you can decide more wisely. Okay, so house rules are basically in shared accommodation. There are sometimes house rules which you have to follow with all the roommates have to follow the house rules, either designed by landlord or designed mutually with the roommates. So in shared accommodation, this is also one of the important point to consider. And these rules are basically to cleaning schedules and like the guest or something like that. Okay, tenant insurance is not a mandatory thing, but tenant insurance is good when you are moving into a long-term accommodation. Then tenant insurance is there to cover you if something happened. For example, if there is any incident happen in the house, or there is some kind of let's say fire or something, there any damage, so tenant insurance will cover you. So it's good to have. If you can have the tenant insurance, it will cover your accidental coverage and accidental kind of emergency issues. If the place become inhabitable and you have to move out of the place by because of any reason, then the tenant insurance will cover you. Next slide. Okay, so now let's talk about how to search. So as I mentioned, St. John's is a small city, so there are not a lot of platform where you will find rental listings. Most landlords who are looking for tenants use the websites that I have listed here. So number one is IO listing. That this is basically IO listing is basically on our website, internationalization website. There is a IO listing. So the landlords who submit their listings, which is available, they want to rent out and they want to rent out through internationalization office. They submit their listings to our office and we update it on our website, and it's updated on bi-weekly basis. So if you go in the website and you can see the last update was there, and then when we receive more new listings, we will update it there. So one thing I wanted to mention here, that we update the IO listing, but we only work with the students. We don't work with landlords. So we don't contact with landlords on behalf of a student. So if you find anything which is an IO listing, you can directly reach out to landlord and you can see the details and you can ask the detail, you can schedule viewing, or if it is still rent out or not, we don't know because we just published it on our website. So you have to directly reach out so you can know about the details. Then you can also explore sites like Spaces Shared, which is partnered with Memorial University, just like it did it with many other universities across Canada. And it's a platform where older adults open up their homes to international students. In some cases, if you are willing to help with light household tasks, you may even get a discount on your rent. So it's basically like a paying guest kind of thing. That's the landlord gives you the space, and you have to and he hosts you, the landlord hosts you, and then you can pay the amount, and you can still help with the work a little bit, so you might get discount as well. So it's a basically a hosting kind of thing. And then the Facebook groups and marketplace, these are the most common platforms to find housing, to find listings. So most of the listings are available on the marketplace. There is a Kijiji website as well. Some people consider it, some people not consider, but yeah, sometimes scams are also happening on Kijiji. So just be extra careful if you find something on Kijiji. Just cross check or just go for viewing so you know that's a legitimate place. Then there is a, okay, so word of mouth. Never underestimate the power of word of mouth. So So word of mouth is basically by friends, by community members, so there are WhatsApp groups as well, where you can just send a message, and then there will be the message will be circulated among the community members, among the other peoples by word of mouth. So that is also one of the media to use in kind of spreading the information, or just connect with people, and just you will get to know a lot of places as well. Okay. So again, all of this information is available on our website. So you can just, the link is below, near in the slide, you can see in the below, this is the link. If you can go here, so you will see all the information. Okay, can we move to next? Okay, the next, so this is about family housing. Okay, next slide. Okay, so before starting to, I will again remind that for the family accommodate housing, again, this bubble shows that family unit applications are not open yet, as there is already a waitlist. So for families, there is no on-campus accommodation for fall 2025. So all the families are right now has to look for the off-campus accommodation. Now, family housing is a bit more complex. Usually, families want their own private space, and they don't want to share the house with other bachelors, or even bachelors don't want to share a house with families sometime. So, off campus, but it is important to know that family housing generally cost more, because if you are going for a full private private unit or private apartment, so, and also if you have kids, the family with like only not only couple with kids, so that means that you have to go for the one two bed, at least a two-bedroom apartment, so that will cost you around 1800 to 2000 on an average. Uh, so if you are bringing your children to, please make sure you are clear about the unit size and who allowed to live there. So that means that, let's say the couple has one kid, then sometimes it's okay if the kid is a small, the one bedroom might work. But if the family has like two kids or three kids or maybe four kids, and they are teenage and younger and older, so that means that uh, you have to go for at least 2 to 3 bedroom apartment. So no landlord would willing to give, or they are not even they don't want to give the rooms to the families which with more than one kids. So they usually, lease also specify the number of adults and children. So that's why that is important to consider. Okay. Next slide. Yeah. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, when searching for housing as a newcomer, here are a few final tips to help you settle in. It's best to first secure temporary accommodation, like a short-term rental, before committing to a long-term accommodation. This gives you time to explore your options, understand the neighborhood, and make more informed decision. And when you do find a potential place, always try to view it in person. This is the safest way to make sure it meets your needs and expectations. Be mindful of your rights and responsibility as a tenant, and always ask question about utilities, heating, and what's included in the rent. And please be very cautious of deals that seems too good to be true. Always be extra careful if you are asked to sign a lease before arriving in St. John's. This advice applies to family as well as single students. Um, if you are arriving alone or with your family, starting with temporary accommodation is the safest and most practical option. Lastly, I've included some helpful link and resources here on the slides. These are especially usually for newcomer, and can guide you through the process. So the renting 101 and how to approach a landlord, these are the two links. And if you go there, it's also available on our website at international@man.ca. If you go on these two resources, you will find a lot of information to start with, and how to approach a landlord. So this is also important. Let's say that there is a listing available, and more than 10 people are on the same house, or more than 15 people are on the same house. That means the landlord will also want to give to someone who seems more genuine and more interested. Like you like tenants, like students who are afraid of scams, there are landlords who are also afraid of bad tenants. So if you make a approach the landlord in a very good and polite manner, if you can give a good introduction, a brief introduction about yourself to while you are approaching a landlord for the first time, let make a good introduction message and paragraph, and then you can send and you can explain about your situation. You are coming, you are new incoming student, you have family, or you are alone, you are a graduate student, whatever the introduction, you can give a message, and uh, then the landlord will also be interested to respond to you. Like if landlord is receiving hundreds of messages and somebody is asking, is hi, hello, is this available, so might landlord don't want to give you the response. But if you are giving him a good introduction about yourself and about your situation, then he might be willing to like send you respond you. And these are the also location, safety, facility, cost, quality, and rules. These points are mentioned here in the green box. They are all these are available on the website in detail. So I just mentioned here for the reminder that always keep these things in mind while going for viewing or going for approaching for going for any looking for any accommodation. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the final slide, how the lease document looks like in Newfoundland and Labrador. This is the rental standard rental agreement or lease agreement, which is downloaded from the Newfoundland and Residential Tenancy Board website. You usually landlord download this document and fill out and give it to you. This is a very self-explanatory document. You don't have to worry about anything. Here, I just wanted to mention one thing. If this PDF can open, if you can try, Harim, this, if you can click on here, double click the PDF, it might open. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay. No worries. So that lease document says about the fixed term or month-to-month lease type. So I explained earlier, month-to-month is basically the one where you can give 130 days notice and you can move out or serve the notice and you can move out of the house the next month. If it is fixed term, that means that you will bound to live in the same house for the time period where when the lease expire. So this is the lease agreement document. Just for your information, I put the screenshot here to how it looks like. Mostly the genuine and good landlords use this template, but if it is on Word document, if it's still valid, but but there might be chances of scam, but this one is the good one. So next slide. Okay, if you have any question or concern, please email at international or email at to hibzati@man. So thank you everyone. Now I'm open for the questions.